Okay, we are recording.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Carabelli.
Here.
Ms. Phillips.
Here.
Mr. Whalen.
Here.
Mr. Patero.
Here.
Mr. Ty.
Here.
All present.
Would everyone please rise for the flag salute and invocation?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, let us pray for those who have no voice, who struggle to make ends meet, and who are faced with despair and depression. May you be their guiding light and give them hope, and may we show compassion, generosity, and a healing hand. Let us always work towards a spirit of unity and collaboration in our meeting this evening as we advocate on behalf of our community. We ask all these things and those in the silence of our heart. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk?
For your consideration, we have the minutes of the February 4th regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Yes. Mr. Carabelli.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Mr. Whalen.
Yes.
Mr. Patero.
Yes.
Mr. Ty.
Yes. We have two communications tonight. First being the World Down Syndrome Day communication, which Councilwoman Phillips is going to read.
Thank you, President Ty. The proclamation here is, whereas World Down Syndrome Day is observed annually on March 21st to raise public awareness, promote inclusivity, and celebrate the contributions of individuals with Down syndrome to our communities. And whereas Down syndrome is a naturally occurring chromosomal condition affecting people of all races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds, and individuals with Down syndrome possess unique talents, abilities, and potential that enrich our society. And whereas individuals with Down syndrome deserve access to quality education, meaningful employment, inclusive opportunities, and the support necessary to lead fulfilling and independent lives. Promoting awareness and acceptance of Down syndrome helps to create a more inclusive community that values diversity, equity, and respect for all individuals regardless of ability. And whereas families, educators, advocates, medical professionals, and organizations play a crucial role in empowering individuals with Down syndrome by fostering environments of love, understanding, and opportunity. And whereas Hamilton Township stands in solidarity with individuals with Down syndrome and their families, recognizing their achievements and reaffirming our commitment to ensuring their full participation in all aspects of community life. Hamilton Township encourages all residents to celebrate the abilities, contributions, and inherent worth of individuals with Down syndrome. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Jeffrey S. Martin and the Hamilton Township Council do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2025 as World Down Syndrome Day.
Thank you. Councilwoman Phillips, do I have a motion on communication C1?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Mr. Whalen.
Yes.
Mr. Patero.
Yes.
Mr. Ty.
Yes.
C2 was receipt of documentation for Nottingham Marching Unit request to permit tag day solicitation at Caesar's Bagels located at 110 Block Road, Sunday, March 30th, and permission has already been granted by the business owner.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Carabelli.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Mr. Whalen.
Yes.
Mr. Patero.
Yes.
Mr. Ty.
Yes.
This is 5-0. Resolution 125-152 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of the Hamilton Township Cannabis Testing Laboratory Permit 1103 TL-001001 to Green Analytics East LLC for the year term June 18th, 2025 through June 17th, 2026.
Any members of council wishing to comment on Resolution 1?
No.
No.
Any members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 1?
Yes. Noah Barnez, I just have a question. Where is the testing facility?
What's their address?
It is located,
Quick.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
That's good.
3535 Mercerville Quaker Ridge Road, Unit 101.
It's been there for several years.
Okay, thank you very much. No more questions.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from members of the public? Seeing none,
I'll make a motion to move on communication, resolution 25-152.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Consent agenda items for your consideration, we have CA1 through CA26.
Okay, on tonight's consent agenda, we have the emergency temporary budget resolutions, CA1 and 2. There is a grant for a youth basketball program. Let's see. We're going to be donating a vehicle to the Mercer County Fire Academy on tonight's agenda. There's a resolution concerning the infrastructure fund project and extending the deadline for that. And then shared services contracts. So with that, I'll open it up to council for comments, questions.
I really don't have any. I'll just mention, you already highlighted it, but I like the fact that, obviously, the donation on CA5, as we send some of our folks through the fire training facility, that's helps us, and it also forms, better bond and partnership with the Mercer County Fire Training Center. I also just wanted to mention CA17, obviously significantly less Jersey specialized hauling.
17 is actually a good one to mention. That's the brownfields cleanup at the Neopara.
And that's going to be covered by a grant. So that's, another important project.
Another item, we're buying another K9 we're applying for a grant to fund the purchase of a second K9. And it'll be drug detecting. I understand our first K9's been earning its pay. So,
And a person detector, too. So,
yeah, this one will have additional training to help find missing persons. Any members of the public with questions or comments?
On which issues?
Consent agenda items 1 through CA26.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to be like, a thorn in your side.
Noah Barnes. CA number 2, there's a resolution for municipal emergency temporary budget, $89,831,537. Sorry, what is that for?
So we will be passing the permanent budget we expect to pass it in April or May. We have to get the budget from the mayor. Then we will hold budget workshops. But in the meantime, we have to temporarily fund the budget. This is an authorization to fund up to 60% of last year's budget at last year's rates.
So it's kind of a way of preventing a government shutdown
Sure.
on your level, in a way?
Yeah, we stopped to do business, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
And then I'm assuming the same for CA1 for the sewer bill?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other? Rich?
Rich Balgowan, 55 Church Street, Hamilton, New Jersey, the Church Street near the Crosswicks border.
You don't live at the pumping station?
I
do you?
don't live at the pumping station, although many people think I do. So anyway, this is probably more educational for my part than anything, even though I worked there for over 6 years. So back to the temporary budget. Don't we have a permanent budget in place that goes to, our fiscal year ends June 30th?
So we authorized the
I'm wrong?
2024 budget. We haven't authorized a 2025 budget yet.
Okay, and when's our fiscal year? It's,
It's
January to December.
January to December.
you just answered my question. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Then I do have one other question, and, I like having good relations with others. I mean, when I was Director of Public Works, we did a lot of stuff for our schools, things like that, and even under both Mayor Gilmore and Mayor Bensavango. But what are we donating to Mercer County?
It's a used fire vehicle. The last couple that we had that were at the end of their useful life, we auctioned off. We got about 1,500 per vehicle. So at that rate, if it benefits the fire academy to donate it, we're just going to go ahead and
All right,
donate
so you're
it.
thinking that this vehicle's probably worth about that same amount?
That's our
Yeah,
expectation.
okay.
So
And
it's 2000,
2001.
Okay, and it's, we're
24
developing, and they
year-old.
help us, as Councilman Carabelli said, they take some of our people and put it through their fire academy?
Some of our, right, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, educational.
Any other members of the public wishing to comment or question on the consent agenda item?
Sorry, I have one more question about the consent agenda. The vehicle that we're donating to the Mercer County Community College, 2 weeks ago, the town council unanimously voted to purchase a used $500,000 new apparatus for the fire department. Is that going to replace the one that we are donating to the Mercer County Community College?
I don't think it's the same equipment. It's different equipment.
It's different equipment?
Yeah.
Do we know, like, the town council, which firehouse the new apparatus is going to?
That's up to the chief.
It's up to the fire chief?
The chief can tell you, he's here tonight. If he gets up later, he can tell you what firehouse he's going to put the new fire truck in.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Council President. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Seeing no other members of the public wishing to comment, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda items.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
That's 5-0. That's it for the formal agenda.
Now we are going to comments from the public. Did anybody sign up?
Yes.
First up is Rich Balgallon.
Hey, we've never seen you up here before.
So, just a couple of things. So the first thing, before I talk about the pumping station and my home address, I came before you guys probably well over a year ago, and I was having, are you all familiar, how long do I have?
4
Okay, 4 minutes,
minutes.
that'll be fine. So you're all familiar with the Wawa that's across from the post office on 130 by the Hamilton Marketplace. So as you're coming down Clockner Road, you cross 130 and now you're on Crosswicks Hamilton Square Road. The first driveway going into the Wawa is considered to be in the functional area, this is engineering stuff, the functional area of the intersection. No left turns are allowed. So there was a no left turn sign at the Wawa, and it had that little island there, little concrete island, and pushes cars to the right, and it had cars pushing in. That got knocked down, and it was not getting put back up. And you could just sit there and see cars making illegal left-hand turns out of there, including police cars, state troopers and our own guys, and because there's no sign. So I, excuse the language, I bitched and moaned over and over again to the town, you got to get this fixed. This is a catastrophe waiting to happen. People are crossing 5 lanes to get into the 6th lane in order to go right to go on 130 South. Somebody's going to get broadsided, and if there's kids in the car, the township could absolutely be held liable. Forget about governmental immunity. Okay, and again, this is my field. Nothing happened.
It's also my field, and that's not exactly true, but please continue.
Okay, well, I represent attorneys, and I go to court, and I testify at trial, I do investigations, and if there's something there and it's not there, and you've been put on notice that that sign is down and needs to be put back, then, but we can agree to disagree. So anyway, I came before you guys, and I presented my case to you guys, and lo and behold, the next thing you know, the sign's back up. And it's still there. The issue I have and why I'm bringing up now is there's still cars making illegal left turns out of there, and it's probably 1 in every 3 goes left when they can't. They're crossing that painted yellow island in the middle. We need to get some police enforcement out there, and we could make a fortune in the tickets that are getting written there. Absolutely. That's all I want to say.
How much time do you spend at the Wawa, Rich?
I'm in that Wawa. I probably
There a
stop there
lot.
once a day.
So,
Diet
I mean,
Coke,
how many
all that other
people
stuff.
do you
And I
see-
sit there and I go there and I sit there and watch. You know, this is
You do?
something, oh, absolutely.
And watch.
I'm anal
So
about this
if
kind
you-
of stuff.
If you see that happening, what's best, if you see traffic infractions, is in the moment to call the police.
Well, it's too late, they're gone.
Yeah.
I sat there one time, I watched a person make an illegal left turn, and then I watched a township, I hope there's nobody here, township police car make a left turn, and I said, there we go, he's gonna get him. Nope, they just dispersed. But anyway,
right, well,
I've
we'll
taken
make a-
videos, I've taken all this
Yeah.
kind of
We'll-
stuff.
we'll-
So they just need to have a, you know, just,
We take note of it. And
yeah, just
take
have a,
action
just
on
stop
it.
in there every now and then and just look for that kind of stuff. You're not gonna miss it. Not you, talk about the police. Anyway, let's forget about that. Real quick, my address. I live at 55 Church Street, 08620. The 9-digit zip's different, but I live on the Crosswicks and Hamilton border in Hamilton. The Hamilton Township sewage pumping station is at 55 Church Street, 08620. Different 9-digit zip. I've had so many things delivered to the pumping station. I've actually had some things delivered for the pumping station to my house, and we've got a bit of a relationship there. But I've had things just vanish, where I have like the farmer's dog, which is dog food, expensive dog food, left outside the gate at the pumping station, only to have somebody pick it, a picture taken, only have somebody pick it up and take it away. And I never see it again. The most recent one is I had a certified letter from one of the attorneys I work for sent to me. It was sent back to the attorney as non-deliverable because they tried to deliver it to the pumping station. The engineering department, and this was a good thing, I thought, sent a petition out to all the people on my short stretch of Church Street, goes from Broad Street to the Crosswicks Creek, and asking what name would we like to see our street changed to, and the vote was North Church Street, and that was the end of it. Nothing ever happened. So we're still in that
Who put
position.
out the petition? Who put out
Engineering.
the,
It was engineering.
Our engineering
Yeah, your
department?
engineering
How
department.
long ago was that?
A few years ago.
Okay.
It's been that long. So I'm just hoping that maybe, it's just more
Well, you
inconvenient
know,
than anything.
there's a public safety issue there too, as Councilman Papera pointed out. We have made an effort in the past. We're a 40 square mile town.
Yep.
Different little neighborhoods. There has been some duplication. We've made an effort to correct as many of those as possible.
Okay.
So we'll take another look at Church Street and
Okay.
see what we can figure
Can I have
out.
another like 30 seconds? Am I
You can come
done?
back up
You
for-
come
you
back.
can come
You have
back
two
up.
more.
Come back up.
Okay, all right.
We'll give you another 2 after other
Okay,
people
my
have had a
time up?
chance to talk.
Okay,
Yeah, you
thank
For
good
now.
We're
You
done.
come back up, Ernie.
Let's see, our next person on the list is Steve Dixon.
I prepared something so I can stay on track. Good evening. My name's Steve Dixon, 81 Napa Avenue. I've lived here for 15 years, but more importantly, I spent the last 12 years of my life serving our town's residents, visitors, and businesses. Some background about me. I'm the captain of Engine 3 B Platoon, a past vice president of FMBA 84, and currently the vice president of FMBA 284, the Fire Officers Local. I'm a disabled United States Marine Corps veteran with service in Iraq. Last year, I spent 8 months living in absolute hell after suffering a pulmonary injury at a commercial fire here in town. My children watched as I struggled to carry a laundry basket up a flight of stairs. I couldn't play with them. I slept sitting up in a chair. I was unable to go on hikes during our family vacation, something we had been looking forward to for over a year. My children saw me cry, they saw me in pain, and they saw me in fear. I now have permanent lung damage and must take prescribed steroids daily to reduce the risk of my lungs filling with fluid. Despite explaining that I didn't feel ready to return to work, that I couldn't climb a set of stairs in t-shirt and shorts without getting winded, I was sent back and instructed to use 4 puffs of albuterol before responding to calls while carrying over 80 pounds of equipment. On my first day back, I responded to a house fire and collapsed in the front yard. I thought I was going to die. I'd never been in a situation where I couldn't get air into my lungs, where I felt my heart trying to beat out of my chest. I don't share this for sympathy. I share it because I want you all to understand that I'm one of the most qualified people to speak about Captain Pushman's situation. Our injuries are nearly identical. Joe and I became very close last year and leaned on each other for support during our recovery. We spoke weekly, experiencing the same symptoms. I was terrified that my career in the fire service was over, that I wouldn't be able to provide for my family. Fortunately, I was able to return to work despite my lung damage. Joe wasn't so fortunate. His doctor told him he was too sick and too injured to continue his career as a fire captain. He was forced to retire. March 1st was his retirement date. 2 weeks before his retirement, Joe was informed that he could not use his accumulated sick time for his last 2 weeks of employment because of a clause in an employee handbook. The union grieved this, and the grievance was denied. We're firefighters. We take our oath, we sign a blank check to the public, one that includes sacrificing our health, our mental and physical well-being, and if necessary, our very lives to save others. This is the social contract. In return, the will of the people, administered by elected officials and those they appoint, is supposed to ensure that we and our families are taken care of when that day comes, if that day comes. Hamilton's administration has come close, but ultimately failed to uphold their end of this social contract. As a union representative, I'm asking this council to help correct this misstep and allow Captain Pushman to use his earned sick leave during his last 2 weeks of employment. As a resident, I'm demanding that no expense be spared taking care of our public safety personnel. If anyone has seen our union's social media accounts, you know I'm not alone with that sentiment. I urge this council to form a committee to review the township's employee handbook, bring it up to date, and grant the administration the discretion needed to ensure that no employee, especially one injured in the line of duty, is denied the use of their earned sick time simply because they are retiring. To borrow a word from the administration's response to our grievance, I'm not unsympathetic to their role as stewards of taxpayer dollars, ensuring both fiscal responsibility and the well-being of town employees. We rely on them to balance the budget so we have functioning equipment and can staff our department properly. But as someone who prides himself on being rational and logical, I can find no justification for this decision other than the fact that vacation time is paid hour for hour, while sick time is paid at half rate upon retirement. The financial savings to the town are negligible in the grand scheme of the budget. Not nearly enough to justify turning our backs on someone suffering from a lifelong disability as a result of protecting this community. Last Friday, I stood in front of the U.S. Capitol peacefully demonstrating because I feel my VA benefits are at risk of being cut. As I did, I took comfort in knowing that I live in New Jersey, more specifically in Hamilton, where workers and those who put themselves between the public and harm's way are treated with respect and elected and appointed officials. It's heartbreaking to realize that no matter where we turn, I'm
That's your
cut.
bell.
All right.
That's your bell.
Council,
Thank you.
we are in arbitration now, so I caution you about what you state, because the administration will be responding in appropriate legal documents.
So,
I have like one more line.
I want to,
He's got one more line. Let him,
I have
Go
like
ahead.
one more thing.
Go ahead.
let him,
All right.
please.
It's heartbreaking to realize that no matter where we turn, after sacrificing our health and dedicating our lives to serving, we always seem to end up here standing before elected officials, causing a scene and demanding fair treatment. It's frustrating to see how little priority is given to those who dedicate their lives serving a community. If we don't start valuing the people who put others first, we'll struggle to recruit and retain good firefighters. Hamilton has always been a town that takes care of its own. That is something to be proud of. I sincerely hope this administration recognizes a mistake and corrects it before we lose what makes us special. Thank you.
Steve, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all the firefighters for being here tonight. We appreciate you joining us. Our township attorney has advised us not to comment on any specifics, but we are taking your comments under advisement.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next up is Shane Mull.
Shane Mull, 7 Desiree Drive. I'm also the president of Local 284. I just wanted to hand you guys, this is a copy of Title 40. Here, Allison.
Is there one for everybody? Okay.
And also wanted to comment, obviously Joe Pushman's issue is what it is. I disagree with it wholeheartedly. Kathy and I have gone back and forth about this. But this is the township handbook. And it hasn't been updated, touched. We became members of the township in 2001. There's not a single line in here that references the fire department. So we're held to a standard of a handbook that has never even been adapted to our situation and the way we work. We've had people suspended over this handbook. In 2022, we requested that the handbook be changed. It still hasn't been done. In fact, the handbook is so poorly written that it's on photocopy after photocopy of outdated policy. The policy that Joe Pushman, the vacation policy, was from previous administrations. This administration had time to correct it. They didn't, so that's where we're at now. I'll give you an example, one more example on this handbook, and then I'll leave you to it. We've had issues with light duty over the past 5 years. I we had members placed on light duty. I requested a copy of the light duty policy and was told it's in the handbook. It is not in the handbook, so I opened it. What I got was a sheet of paper that was done on a Word document without signatures, dates, or times sent back to me. So we're just creating policy where we lack them. So it's time to update this policy, this handbook, and get it into today's standards.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
Next is Dawn. Sorry, Dawn, I can't read your last name.
I'm the wife of Captain Joe Pushman.
Oh, Dawn.
He would have
Bushman.
been here tonight, but he's recovering. He had surgery about 7 weeks ago, and he had an infection. We just got him out of the hospital this morning. I just want to thank all the firefighters for all the support they've shown Joe, myself, and my family. To this township committee, I think it's a disgrace how you have treated my husband, who has dedicated 20 years as a full-time firefighter, and this does not include the 10 years of volunteering at Rustling Hose. To most of you, this is a job. For him, this was a career that he loved and was dedicated to it for his life. As of today, he still does not have a date to meet with the pension board or a date to settle the injustice you created of making him use his vacation time for the last 2 weeks of service. My husband had tried 3 times to come back to work since December of 2023. The last time he left fighting a fire, he was taken away in an ambulance. He wasn't the only one injured that day, and I am so thankful for Chief Kramer. He kept me calm and stayed with him until I arrived. After that incident, he was told per the doctor that he was no longer able to fight fires. This broke him, and he asked, and he was willing to stay on and work for his rest of the next 5 years. The lovely BA told him, no, his job was labeled as a firefighter, and you are to fight fires, and we have nothing for you. He wanted and tried so hard to finish his career, but this didn't happen. And the way you have treated him is so wrong. I hope you learn from this mistake, and I am hoping that you can move forward and treat other families with more respect than what you did for my husband. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to comment or ask questions?
On that?
Rich?
Whatever
you want.
Okay, well, how much time do I got?
You have another
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Can I get 2 more minutes after that if I sit
I'll
down
give you
again?
my 2 minutes.
Okay, so anyway, on the Pushman issue, and again, I don't have all the details, but I did follow it on Facebook, and I was flabbergasted. And here's a guy, and Councilman Carabelli, Councilman Pepero, you work for government, the county, right? So I'm sure you know there are a lot of people out there that just blow through all their time. They'll blow through their vacation and sick time every single year, unless somebody questions it. And they'll bring doctor's notes and all that other stuff. So here's a guy that accumulated time. And then the other thing what'll happen, I think this is why this rule was in there, is that a lot of times people will get close to retirement, then they start blowing their sick time to get rid of it, to use it. So they'll start eating up their sick time, and they're not sick, but they just do it, and they might get a doctor's note and get away with it. That's not the case here. This is legitimate, somebody that's legitimately disabled and needs to use his sick time. He shouldn't have to use his vacation. He should be able, if he has vacation left over at the end of the year, he should be able to cash it in and get paid for it. This is, I just don't understand it. And then the other thing with, if somebody gets to the point where they're taking time off and they're really not fit to do their job, come back and do the same job, well, under the Family Medical Leave Act, we are obligated to attempt to find something that he can do instead of that. If he's unable to do his job, and this is right under SMLA or FMLA, whatever it is, and again, I was trained in all this stuff, it might have changed, I don't know, but we need to make an effort to find him something else close to his salary, doesn't have to be exact, where he is capable of doing that without having to put himself in a very vulnerable position where he could get even further hurt, that type of thing. So thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Any other members of the public wishing to?
Janice.
Oh, Janice. I didn't see you there, Janice.
Janice Klein, 432 Trinity Avenue, Cornell Heights. I hate to change the subject, but it sounds like this man has dedicated his life to this township, and he should be rewarded for all the effort he put in, from what I have heard. I don't know about it, but what I understand, I mean, this man should be rewarded for doing an outstanding job. Okay, I'm going to some little touchy things. Sweetbriar, where the solar panel place was supposed to be. There are so many trees knocked down and laying along the road, it looks god-awful. Are they supposed to clean that up, or does the township clean that up?
Knocked down or fell down?
Fell down. It looks like they fell
Well, it
down.
depends if it's in the right of way or if
No, it's on the side, but it
on
looks,
private
it's near the road.
property.
Is that county? County road?
County road.
That's a county road, isn't it?
Well, I
Sweetbriar?
talked about cleaning up the entrance to 295 today, and I went from the county to the state, and then I mentioned about this, and they said it was you guys, the state did,
We'll check.
about cleanup.
We'll check, make sure it's us.
We'll look into it.
Okay. So, I mean, that looks god-awful. And of course, then on the side alongside, what we call it the creek, we who lived in Cornell Heights since we were born, but Whitehead Pond, that, there's all kinds of garbage down there that should be cleaned up too. That other side looks god-awful, all the way up to the overpass. And then Congolium. I thought it was always just going to be the building in the front, but it looks like we're clearing the whole thing. Is anybody watching what they're doing, that they don't go back to where that stream was? Because people had concerns about them wrecking the stream way in the back.
Yeah.
And is
They're being watched.
are they being watched?
Yeah, they would be forced to halt construction if they violate the terms under which the project was approved. So they're being
Okay.
watched.
Because somebody called me up and asked me about that, and I said, well, I will check. And because, you know, it was supposed to be just the one building in front, but they're going way, God knows, all the way. And the dust is phenomenal.
50,000 square feet.
Yeah,
But,
it's a big building.
Okay, and then the last thing somebody asked me to ask about was Di Lorenzo's.
The biggest issue in Hamilton this week,
I mean, how can
to some people.
it be approved by the planning board for a cannabis dispensary, and then it goes bankrupt the next month? I mean, that doesn't make sense. It was
that
approved in
was-
February, but then in March, they declared we're closing it down.
This has been ongoing for a while. There's a lot of articles. I don't know how much we can discuss or not, but if you read the articles and the posts, they were already on a payment for their taxes, so this has been going on, their problems have been going on for a while.
As
So
far
I don't
as,
think it's right to put their personal business out there either.
yeah, I was just going to say too, Councilman, that as far as the cannabis, you know, the landlord has a right to recruit tenants, whether his property is currently occupied or not. So that's really private sector business. We're not, you know, we didn't suggest to the landlord that he go find a new tenant while the pizza shop was still in operation, right? So that was a decision by the landlord to find a potential new tenant. And the reason it came before council is because there are special procedures for cannabis facilities. They need special approvals. And in return, the township gets special revenue from those types of businesses. We have approved as a township a very limited number of cannabis facilities. So we have multiple businesses that are competing to get the approval and get their doors open first, so that they are among the limited number of cannabis facilities that we're going to allow to open in the township.
Because like 2 meetings ago, you approved one for by Uno on Sloan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So these two are going to be close together then?
You can't.
We've also passed an ordinance subsequent to that mandating that there be a certain distance between cannabis facilities. So it's kind of a race to see who actually gets their doors open first. They still have to go to planning. They still have to get permits. So it's a matter of who gets there first. Yeah, the only thing we do is a letter of support so that they can go to the state and get further approvals that they need in order to go into operation. But if the township issues permits, well, maybe not the permits, but a CO, certainly for a cannabis facility, no other cannabis facility is going to be approved or allowed to move forward within a certain distance of that. So those two would be too close together, but we don't know which one or either is going to be viable, right? Okay. So we are supportive. We have been supportive. It's been unanimous, and I've had to abstain on these, but generally we've been supportive of these new businesses that are trying to bring jobs to the community and bring additional tax revenue to the township, but in a limited way.
Okay. All right, just because people go, how can it, just close and then it was approved before it was closed, and so I have no idea.
Up to the landlord.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Who else? Anybody else wishing to?
Apologies, I hate to be a thorn.
Name and address again.
I'm sorry, Noah Barnes.
Noah.
1988 Arena Drive, Hamilton, New Jersey. Now, we just said that, it was up to the landlord, but also with the planning board as well.
Well, if they need a variance.
If they need a variance?
Only if they need a variance would it go to the planning. They have to go and get a permit to do any construction.
Right.
Then before they could open their doors to the public, they would need to get a certificate of occupancy.
Does anybody on the council know how many variances they need for a cannabis dispensary?
Well, not until they bring the application in front of the planning board.
They don't necessarily need any variances.
Okay.
Like if they're moving into
An established structure.
Now, when it comes to the planning board, are the members of the planning board, is that public knowledge?
Oh, yeah. You can attend those meetings too.
Oh, incredible. Anybody, it may sound a little dumb, but, is anybody on the town council currently a member of the planning board?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Whalen.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
The
it.
meetings are posted on the website. You can
On the website? I appreciate it. Thank you.
find everything you need on there.
Thank you, town council.
Come on up.
Brendan Chichuk, 61 Walt Whitman Way, Hamilton Township, New Jersey. I just had a very simple, quick question. A lot of people in Hamilton Township don't know that we have a township flag, the one that is standing right behind you. And when I learned that we did have a Hamilton Township flag, I wanted to acquire one of my own. And the way I originally went about doing that was I came to the Township Municipal Building here, and I was told that I could contact the company directly that produces the flags. Oh, I don't know what that issue was. And when I did get in contact, the office was very, willing to give me the contact information to get in touch with them. And the price was a little out of my price range for a flag that I would want to pay for. So I was wondering if it's possible to obtain a PNG image of the flag or something. I couldn't find one online. I could find pictures of the flag at various events throughout Hamilton's history, but I couldn't find the exact flag itself, like how you can find them on Wikipedia or any other sort of, website that displays these kind of things. So I was just wondering what the process would be to try and get that, or if I should talk to someone else about it, and I was just looking for council's advisement on that.
Yeah. If you leave us your contact information, we'll see what we can figure out.
Okay.
We have a pretty good sign shop who's pretty good with graphic types of, and we make a pretty good calendar every year. So we do have some folks who have some expertise. We might be able to help you. Yeah. Anybody else wishing to? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. We'll get you next. Yeah. That's okay. Come on up.
Hi, everybody. Sean Lucas, 4 Christopher Drive, Yardville. You mentioned, Councilman Ty, you mentioned about a limited amount of these dispensaries, right?
3.
Is that what there is?
3.
So I believe there's one now that's at the old or one going into the old Fridays location, is that
It's
correct?
proposed. Yeah, and again, we've had several proposals, but it's a matter of these businesses need to actually show that they have the wherewithal to open their doors to the public. So it's a matter of who are those first three retail contenders, if you will, operations going to be.
Who's approving the three? I mean, is that you?
Well,
all on
we
council,
haven't
or is that?
limited, so what we do is we'll write a letter of support for cannabis businesses that have a proposal to open. We'll look at the location. We want to make sure that it's an appropriate place for that type of business. And then.
What do you mean by? I mean, what do you mean by appropriate? Is there certain guidelines you're like?
Correct zoning.
Follows the ordinances.
Yeah. So then we'll write a letter of support for it, and that goes to the state, and the state approves, right? The state approves it. And then at that point, they come back to the township, just like any business would, to renovate a space to open their business. They would need to get permits.
I mean, myself, I think three is too many for the township.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of other people probably think the same. You know, there's ones in neighboring towns. Bordentown's got one, Lawrenceville, I mean, I'm sure Trenton.
Bordentown is too.
So I think three is too many. That's why I'm asking if you guys are all approving that up here. It's really, think about that. But thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Scott Sullivan. I live at 5 Vintage Court in Hamilton. So before getting into what I wanted to talk about today, I just want to say, from hearing all these other people speak today, that as a resident, I think it's only fair that somebody serving their community and so horribly impacted in the line of duty should be taken care of. Just seems like the right thing to do. Moving on, what I came tonight to talk about was the upcoming update to the state development and redevelopment plan. So last month I went to the outreach that the state was putting out in Mercer County, and I kind of wanted to understand what the Township Council thought about that and to what extent they were looking to make changes to, I guess, the township as a whole in line with that. So this is the 5th town I've lived in New Jersey, and to me it seems like the best town that has the most potential based on the things that they're talking about in the updated plan. And I also remember from last year's State of the Township address from the mayor, how many of his priorities that he highlighted in that could be going hand in hand with things in the updated plan. So I just kind of wanted to see what you all were thinking of in regards to that.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to attend the meeting that you are speaking of, and you know, it's something that we're certainly going to be wanting to take a look at as the state continues to do their work on that. And you know, I think certainly we're going to want to cooperate with that. I can tell you that a focus has been redevelopment. And we've made a lot of headway on that. You may have noticed that we were funding work today to clean up a brownfield in Hamilton that has been sitting vacant for decades, right? So that's been an area of focus for this council, for this administration. You'll notice that we are in the process of constructing a new municipal building on the site of what had been a vacant shopping center that sat empty for decades.
I live right next to it.
Before we came in and did our work there to build a new municipal building there. We're going to have a new energy efficient municipal building on that property. We're going to share that property with the Board of Ed, which is going to save the taxpayers money. We're going to make sure that there are energy efficiency measures put in place, again, to save the taxpayers money. You think about Bromley. We're working on bringing jobs to Bromley, bringing new industry to Bromley. We're working on like the old Bromley Fire property. Again, that sat vacant for too many years before this administration did the work to piece together the small lots that comprised the totality of the Bromley Fire property. And now we're making progress toward building modern, affordable housing in place of what had been uninhabitable buildings, really safety hazard there. So those are the types of things that we're doing, the type of long-range thinking and planning and projects that we're engaging in order to best serve the future needs of the township.
Okay. And would the township consider getting an endorsed plan through the state?
A what?
An endorsed plan?
I'm open to, discussing it. Yeah, I mean, best practices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to, just adhere to the highest standards of planning, as I feel we have. And if there's an opportunity to work in collaboration with the state to hold ourselves to the highest possible standard for our residents, I think we'd, be open to that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You can take a second. Oh, we got a first timer there.
Yeah, thanks for noticing my body language.
One of our old gallery friends.
Oh, yeah, Joe Stillwell, 203 Grayson Avenue. It's great to be back. I'm going to miss this council chamber and the history it's presented for the township. But I actually want to...
90s vintage wallpaper.
I love it. I love it, okay?
80s or 90s?
Better be turned into a history museum. But I'd like to yield my time to Mr. Rich Powgowan. I may be back at the podium.
Listen, we don't do that. We don't do that.
No.
Oh, you can't do that?
There's no yielding time.
Oh.
We'll be here all
I'll have to
night.
talk again or I'm done?
You're done.
Is this
You
about your
came
address?
up twice, right,
Is this
Rich?
about your address?
During,
Huh?
Is this about the address?
No.
I would like to talk to you about that also.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, it's not completely different. I can talk to you guys separately. Okay.
yeah, sorry,
Thank
Rich.
you so much.
You get 2 bites at the apple during public comment.
Well, I'll just finish my remark that I was planned to say.
That was a nice effort at getting Rich the next time.
Try to give them another 2 minutes. They want to cut you off, they're going to take you with the cane, Rich. What are we going to turn the municipal building into? I've heard of school, possibilities like that. Hopefully the Historical Society can maybe take it over or something, because we shouldn't be tearing down this historical building with Jack Rafferty, as the first real elected mayor of Hamilton when the Faulkner Act took full effect in the 70s. It'd be a shame. I don't want to see this building go away.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment. There aren't finalized plans yet for what's going to happen to this building. One of the things I will say is a large part of the reason that we're moving is because this building is not ADA compliant. Well, okay, our township attorney wants me to say it
Well, I
is
appreciate
ADA
that, township attorney.
compliant, but not when our elevator breaks down. We've had to cancel council meetings when our elevator breaks. So there have been various problematic issues. Walking in the front door and immediately being confronted with 2 flights of stairs isn't ideal for ease of access for our residents. So these are some of the reasons that we're leaving the building, and that might make it problematic for certain uses for other entities. I don't know how you would really have to do like a total gut reno of this building to really bring it into. It is going to the Board of Ed.
Yeah.
And
Because it'd be kind of tough to make a school out of this building, is what I would imagine.
Yeah.
We're not the Board of Ed. so
Yeah,
we
that's
can't-
up to them.
we can't-
Well, fair enough, but hopefully some form of it is preserved, maybe a piece of wood or that thing above your head, the plaque gets moved over. Just something to remember the old place about, because I remember here 5 years ago, when it would get very lively around here, and kind of miss those days.
Well, the first time I was council president, my slogan was "Make council meetings boring again."
Thank you. All right. Have a wonderful
All
evening.
right.
Once again, Brendan Chachuk, 61 Walt Whitman Way. I just wanted to make a brief thank you. I'm a Ukrainian American, and I'm glad that Hamilton Township stands with our Ukrainian American community. In November of last year, Councilman Whalen joined us at my parish's 75th anniversary at St. Joseph's Ukrainian Catholic Church. And a little bit before that, I actually gave the mayor a tour along with my father of Bow Hill Mansion, which is owned by the Ukrainian National Home. It's been owned by the National Home since about the 60s, but it's a very beautiful historical building. One thing we do there every year is a Ukrainian Independence Day festival at the end of August. So I just wanted to make a formal invitation to everyone on council that we would like for you to join us at that event. It's a very powerful event, in my opinion. It's a good chance to meet the Ukrainian Americans, not just in Hamilton Township, but also in Mercer County and outside of Mercer County. We have plenty of people who come from, Middlesex County, Burlington County, all the way up from Whippany, where there's another Ukrainian national community. And overall, I just wanted to say, once again, thank you so much. And the importance of coming to one of these events is monumental to me. Last year at our event, we had Trenton Councilwoman Jennifer Williams and Trenton Mayor Reed Buciora. So considering that it's in Hamilton Township, I would just like to extend the invitation to you guys, and hopefully I'll see you there.
So thank you for that invitation. Now more than ever, I would love to attend. Councilman.
Two questions. One, can you please just make sure we get the information?
Absolutely. I will forward it to your council. So
What was the cost of the flag that you tried to know?
it was well over $25.
Okay.
That's kind of what put me in a weird spot. If it's less than $25, let me know.
$24.99, we got you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to come up? Seeing none, we're going to move to council comments. Who'd like to start?
I can leave things off. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I just wanted to, I think the St. Patrick's Day Parade was, and I know Chuddy probably alluded to this and some of my colleagues here on the dais, was just a good community event. It brought a lot of people together. Great weather, which has been atypical over the last few years. We've struggled with the weather, but it was just a good community event. And it was good seeing a lot of people out there supporting, their either our Irish heritage or their just a time to have fun and come together as a community. So I thought that was a beautiful event. I also wanted to mention we have coming up this Friday, March 21st, through our Office of Economic Development, partnering with the County Office of Economic Development, Mercer County Job Fair, Hamilton Township Job Fair, I should say, at Colonial Firehouse. That's from 11 to 3, led by Director Fred Dumont and Deputy Director Kate Kane. They've done a wonderful job. I think they have over 70 or so, even more, employers who are attending the event. So if you know of someone who's seeking employment, it's a good event for job seekers. It really is. At the Colonial Firehouse from 11 to 3 on the 21st. That's all I have to say tonight. Thank you all for coming out this evening.
Thank you.
I guess I'll move forward around the circle here, or horseshoe. Again, thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. I appreciate the questions we got from the public. Obviously, we have a large contingency of our township firefighters and firewomen. Don't want to exclude anybody. I know you mentioned that Anthony and Pat both work for the county, so they work for public sector unions. I myself spent 48 years in the private sector union of building trade, so I understand what you're going through, but naturally, we're not allowed to comment on it. Okay, I just want to say solidarity, right? So you guys are here together trying to support a brother that's struggling. And hopefully, at the end of the day, it gets resolved. So I just want to say I appreciate you coming. Other than that, Anthony, I'd like to say about the parade, I wasn't there, but I'm sure it was a good day. I was sick. And my friend here up front about the Ukrainian event that I had the pleasure of attending, I just got to say, I was truly amazed at the event that they put on every year. It's really special. It's something how it brings the Ukrainian community together to celebrate. And hopefully this year, some of us, rest of us, the council could come to the next event at the end of the summer. So look forward to it. That's all I have, Council President.
I just want to concur with both of my colleagues. Again, the St. Patrick's Day Parade is a great time. We have people who come from all over to join us for that parade. Just a little funny comment, I saw that a parent was looking to see if it was true that we didn't have school in Hamilton yesterday because their son or daughter was trying to fool them into thinking that that's how important St. Patrick's Day is in Hamilton. I thought that was a smart kid. But also to everyone who's here tonight in solidarity, I'm a teacher, I'm a public school teacher, so I'm with you as well, and I hope we can resolve this appropriately. And again, you know, we can't comment, but we do hear you. And thank to everyone else for coming out and commenting and asking good questions. And we'll look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
I don't think I need to say anything. I think you already know where I stand. It'll be fixed. That's enough.
I want to thank everyone, thank my council colleagues. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. And I just want to note, we have always had a good partnership with our firefighters. We've worked together from the days of the fire districts to do the right thing for our community. The work that you do is appreciated. I understand that there's, you know, a set of circumstances that I can't talk about, but I am confident that you guys are going out and working hard to keep the public safe every day. And, you know, your work is appreciated, and I'm confident that we can continue to have a good working partnership for years to come. So thank you for all your service. And with that, I'm going to wish everyone a good night. This meeting's adjourned.